Tonight on CTV, we take a look at the closing of the Village Vidiot, as well as the mysterious fog that has covered northern Colorado.
Then we have the highlights from the Rocky Mountains Showdown, Fortitdue 10K, and Tour de Fat from this weekend. All this plus weather, sports, and entertainment tonight on CTV News.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to CTV News. I'm Stuart Smith.
And I'm Nicole Parra. Let's take a look at everything going on in the world of news. There is noticeable haze and smoke in the air in northern Colorado today. Much of eastern Colorado, including Fort Collins, is under air quality health advisory because of smoke pouring into the area from fires in northwestern U.S. and Canada. The warning issued Monday by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment is for areas below 7,000 feet and includes Denver, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Greeley, and Boulder. Slow-moving upper-level winds continue to transport smoke and haze into the state from the many fires burning from Montana to the Pacific Northwest. According to the National Weather Service, Wellington Fire advised via Twitter to keep windows closed and outdoor activity to a minimum.
In light of President Donald Trump's decision to phase out Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, commonly referred to as DACA, a rally for solidarity with DACA students will be held in front of Senator Cory Gardner's office, located in Fort Collins across the street from the CSU campus. In an interview with the Associated Press, Trump said his administration is not after the dreamers, we are after the criminals. But Republican leaders from 10 states, led by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, threatened to sue if the president's administration did not pass DACA to Congress. DACA is an Obama-era program that functions to shield the country's nearly 800,000 undocumented immigrants that were brought to the United States as children from deportation. People who file with DACA can receive an American driver's license, a social security number, and a worker's permit. CSU is home to more than 100 DACA students. The DACA Solidarity Rally will be hosted by Alianza Norco, Fort Collins for Progress, and Indivisible Norco from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. According to the event's Facebook post, around 100 people are expected to attend. The rally is located at Gardner's office because, although he was not among the authors of the ultimatum, he has not publicly voiced support of DACA and has voted to rescind it in the past. However, today, during a rally, Gardner publicly came out in support of the DREAM Act, Congress's version of DACA.
If you live in Fort Collins and love adventure, chances are you were at the Fortitdue 10K this Labor Day weekend. Let's take a look at how the historic event played out. State's new stadium where the inaugural Fortitdue 10K is taking place. The stadium opened its doors for community to gather and kick off a new tradition of celebrating Labor Day. The Fortitdue 10K is a way for CSU and Fort Collins to come together to celebrate the opening of the new football stadium. The 10K welcomed walkers, joggers, and USA Pro racers. Hundreds of volunteers showed up to guide participants throughout the race.
I got up and just came and volunteered for the race and got set up and was a marshal to make sure people don't go on the field or the streets at all.
Several of the participants had ties to the Fort Collins community.
I am a CSU Ram. I had a buddy who challenged me on a golf course to run and do it, and he's a CU buff. He didn't make it today, but I did.
From start to finish, runners took pride in the relationship between CSU and Fort Collins.
Well, I think the community's always rallied together. When I went to school here, and today's just showcases that once again. There were so many people out on the course today, and the university looks great, so I think it just brings a lot more exposure to what's already a great city.
The event was a success for the city and university. Registration is already open for next year's 10K. If you're interested in participating, visit www.fortitdue10k.boulderboulder.com.
Colorado State University students walk past the Hallery and the Hallery Student Center every day, but they may not know the passion, creativity, and fearlessness that went into each piece. The current exhibit is titled Unbridled, and it is a mixed media gallery created by fourth-year art major Todd Underwood. According to his artist statement, Underwood's goal for the gallery was to lose control and embrace unbridled creativity. Throughout this process, Underwood said he grew as an artist because he did not contain his creative process. I'm really experimenting right now, Underwood said. The Hallery is all experimental media. I used makeup, house paint, and spray paint, and I really liked the process. Last semester, I took a methods and materials class where we used experimental materials. I loved it and kept going with it. It's where I found my work going. The Hallery is the only art gallery in the LSC dedicated to solely showcasing student work. It was created after students expressed interest in showcasing their work, and its location, which is the hallway between the basement leading out to the north parking lot, was chosen because of the large amount of foot traffic in the area.
Michael Kotis has embarked on journeys across the world, from a 22,494-foot peak in Nepal to minefields in Vietnam. Over the last 2 decades, Kotis, an award-winning photographer, reporter, and author, is giving a book talk to introduce his latest nonfiction book, Megafire, The Race to Extinguish a Deadly Epidemic of Flame. In 1999, Kotis and a team of journalists received the Pulitzer Prize for breaking news coverage at the Hartford Courant. Kotis worked at the Courant as a photographer, picture editor, and writer from 1987 to 2008. Kotis's work has appeared in publications such as the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, and the Denver Post. Kotis received the USA Book News Best Nonfiction Award in October of 2008 for High Crimes, his best-selling book. Kotis also speaks across the country at schools, corporations, churches, galleries, and nonprofit organizations. Kotis gives multimedia presentations about the destinations he has traveled to as both a photographer and as a reporter. His talk is on Thursday, September 7th at 6 p.m. at Old Firehouse Books.
One staple of Fort Collins life is closing this month after more than 25 years in the city. Despite the rise of mega companies such as Amazon and Netflix, and the concurrent fall of places like Blockbuster, one independent video store in Fort Collins has managed to stay in business, until now. Shepherd first ran into problems during the construction of the West Elizabeth Underpass.
That's what started the whole thing. Everybody's struggling, but we were struggling to get through the construction anyway. Even the pre-planning stage, they started blocking streets, and we came up and I raised some money to cover the costs when they did close the place, and they closed the corner for a month. And you can't get here, and that's hugely destructive. But we raised enough money through the little campaign we ran to pay payments on some of the bills and just keep going.
But the Village Vidiot is not going out of business due to a lack of customers.
We had the new landlord. He's a new landlord. He came in and said, "Hi, I'm your new landlord. I bought the church, and I needed to buy your building to get it for the parking lot, and we'd like you to leave." And we just, no, I've got a lease. I'm raising money to stay.
At first, Shepherd tried to find a new location to put the Vidiot.
You can't just go on Mulberry. You can't just hit Harmony. You have to go somewhere where you'll come and see it, and where my existing clientele can walk or whatever. So we tried a few places that were locals. It just didn't work out. There were just a lot of reasons. But
it was during that search that he had a revelation.
It hit me. I've been here 80 hours plus every week. It's just me, and I've dragged my wife in here 80 hours a week. And really, if I'd been working 40 hours a week with a partner like we had done, I'd be upset. But now, no, I'm not upset now.
Though Shepherd has put so much time into the store over the last decades, he is not saddened to see it come to an end.
No, I'm glad it lasted that long. It's been fun. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. Everybody comes out. I'm so sorry. No, whatever. I'm fine. Oh, it's fantastic. Most people don't last 30 years. They don't live 30 years. But it's been pretty fun.
Be sure to check them out for cheap DVDs and Blu-rays before they fully close on September 25th. I'll be sure to.
There's a peculiar pile of dirt near the Clark Building at Colorado State University. Upon a closer look, there is a sign that reads, "Pollinator Garden coming soon." The Clark Garden bed is the start of CSU's attempt to become a bee-friendly campus, spearheaded by facilities management. Fred Haberecht, landscape architect and chair of the committee for the garden, said perennial beds are a major renovation. Haberecht said, "We want to encourage insects that increase pollination, and we are picking specific plants to do that." Haberecht and David Hansen directed the project, aided by Holly Miller, horticulture technician at CSU, who helped pick out plants for the renovation. Miller said the landscapes have to be redone every year because they become overgrown and they need renewal. Miller said the project arose from a coincidental intersection between a student's research and a landscape's needs for reconstruction. The reconstruction will help highlight the research that is currently happening on campus.
A state commission has begun looking at avenues to build a passenger rail service that would stretch up and down the Front Range of central Colorado. The Colorado Springs Gazette reported Sunday that the commission, which includes government representatives from Denver to Trinidad, has until December 1st to submit the legislature a plan detailing steps forward and funding options. The ultimate hope is for a commuter rail that runs from Fort Collins to Pueblo, which David Krutzinger of the State Department of the Transportation says would cost between $5 billion and $15 billion. The 13-member commission will meet for the second time this week and plans to convene at least once a month. And in Fort Collins news, the Fort Collins Police Services reported today that a bear has been reported in Fort Collins in the 300 block of Cherry Street. FCPS asks that residents leave the bear alone and they do not approach it. They say, quote, "Bears are not furry attractors, despite what the movies show."
Stay safe and stay tuned for your weather update with Zach Trombetta coming up next.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said Bob couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back. Weather anchor Zach Trombetta here. I hope you guys all had a great weekend and were able to check out the Rocky Mountain Showdown, the Tour de Fat, and the Fortitdue 10K. It was a great weekend. You probably noticed some of this haze we see out here right now, which is coming from the Pacific Northwest with fires burning in Oregon, Montana, and California. The Colorado Department of Health put out an air quality advisory for people to keep their windows shut and really just try not to breathe this in. Although the sunset was very beautiful. As we check out right now, this is a map taken by the NASA Aqua satellite. This is showing southern Oregon and the fires burning in northern California, which is the smoke that we see down here due to slow moving winds. Now, we check outside right now, the current conditions, pretty clear, warmed up throughout the day, 68 degrees right now. The sunset isn't going to be as beautiful as last night, but 7:25, so get out there and check that out. Now, tonight, it's going to be a pretty cool night across the state of Colorado. Starting up in Fort Collins, 44 in Fort Collins, down the I-25 corridor we go, 48 in Colorado Springs, 51 in Pueblo. Out on the eastern plains, Lamar, 43, and 43 in Burlington as well. Out on the western slope, Vail sitting at 42 degrees, and Grand Junction, 62. Pretty warm night out there. Now tomorrow, your highs, going to be a pretty warm day as well. 78 in Fort Collins, 76 in Colorado Springs, and 81 in Pueblo. Out on the eastern plains, 76 in Burlington, and Lamar, 81. Grand Junction, again, 94 degrees. Can you believe that? So hot. Now tomorrow, your Wednesday, going to be partly cloudy. 9 a.m., 50 degrees. For you 8 a.m.ers, you're going to want the fleece. I'll talk about that next. Noon, 68 degrees. 5 p.m., 79 degrees. It's going to warm up. Now your checklist for tomorrow. I did not include the fleece, but you're going to want that. T-shirt tomorrow morning, shorts, sunscreen, and sunset will be things you need to get through your day and you won't be sunburnt. Stay tuned for sports next with Eliza.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
They told me all I could dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be. They told me all I could.
Welcome back from the Labor Day weekend. I'm Eliza Gilbert. Let's get to it and talk sports. As everyone knows, the Rocky Mountain Showdown did not go in favor for the Rams. They lost 17-3. This loss brings CSU to 1-1 on the season. CSU quarterback Nick Stevens completed 24 of 47 passes for 309 yards with 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions came from which cost them 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. There has been a lot of talk about this game and how the officials could have potentially ruined the game. In yesterday's press conference, Coach Bobo said he usually sends about 5 to 10 clips in each game for feedback from officials, but he sent 25 plays in from this game in particular. But Bobo also knows that this won't let them play the game over, so the team is just going to hold their head up high as they move into the next game. The Rams will face Abilene Christian this Saturday at home at 1:30 p.m. The Colorado State volleyball team had a fantastic weekend at the Home 2 Suites Invitational. The team went 3-0 in the tournament, even beating Florida State 3-0, who's ranked 15th. Brianna Rundlesand and Jasmine Hanna each had 15 kills. Kirsty Hillier was named Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week yesterday for her stellar performance last week. She ended the week with 20 blocks, 35 kills, and a .582 attack percentage. She even had her second double-double of the season against TCU with 108 blocks and 13 kills. The team will host the CSU tournament starting this Friday. What a weekend for the Colorado State team on Friday. On Friday, CSU took on New Mexico State and won 5-1. A big portion of this win came from freshman Allie Murphy-Paletto, as she had the first hat trick in program history. This huge accomplishment awarded Allie as the Mountain West Soccer Offensive Player of the Week. She not only had the first hat trick in program history, she also earned the first Mountain West honor. Alex Lanning and Mackenzie Taylor account for the other 2 goals. On Sunday, the team took on New Hampshire and fell 2-1. Hallie Havlicek was able to earn her first career goal. Up next, the soccer team will travel to SIU Edwardville this Friday. The Colorado State cross-country team kicked off their season last week. The men's team came in ranked 18th. This is the second highest preseason ranking the team has ever had. The men's team has also been chosen to win the 2017 Mountain West title by head coaches at the CSU duels this weekend. Darby Gilfigan came into first place in the women's 5K with a time of 17 minutes and 35 seconds. Trent Powell also placed second in the men's 5K with a time of 14 minutes and 52 seconds. The team has a little bit of a break before September 23rd when they take place in the Roy Griak Invitational. For more sports updates, follow the CTV 11 YouTube page. Be sure to stick around for entertainment with Kiara Coles.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one's going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back, Rams. I'm Kiara Coles with All Things Entertainment. Let's get started. Celebrities are getting their tap shoes and slick moves ready as they gear up for the 25th season of Dancing with the Stars. 2 of the cast members have already been announced: Property Brothers star Drew Scott and former American football wide receiver Terrell Owens. Scott is partnered with last season's Mirrorball champ Emma Slater, and Owens will dance with Cheryl Burke. In reference to Owens dancing, Burke said, quote, "He's got some rhythm, but he's never danced before." Rumors continue to swirl on who the remaining contestants will be. Names include Grease Live star Jordan Fisher and former child actor Frankie Muniz. The official roster will be announced tomorrow on Good Morning America. On a serious note, Hurricane Harvey continues to cause chaos and distress throughout the southern part of Texas. Relatives of the late great Selena Quintanilla Perez are among the fatalities, according to a Facebook post made by Selena's father, Abraham. The post says, quote, "The family that drowned in Houston, Texas were related to me. Manuel Saldivar and his wife Felia and 4 of their grandkids left their flooded house to go somewhere where there was safety. When they crossed a bridge, a wave of water swept the van and pushed them into the bayou. The children's grandmother commented on the tragedy saying, quote, "We are devastated." In response to Hurricane Harvey, a multitude of stars, including George Clooney, Oprah, and Queen Bee, are staging a telethon to raise money for those affected. The telethon, called Hand in Hand, a benefit for Hurricane Harvey relief, will air on September 12th across several networks, including ABC, CBS, and NBC. Proceeds will be distributed to a variety of charities supporting the recovery efforts. Halloween isn't the only time you can dress up in your best costumes. Over the weekend, I got to see one of Fort Collins' most anticipated and creative events. Residents of the fort were dressed up in their best costumes and cycling around town in this year's annual Tour de Fat.
Fort Collins does a really good job of doing events like this to bring everybody together and make it a really fun place to live.
Hosted by the New Belgium Brewing Company, the day kicked off with an all-wheels parade throughout Old Town. The event served as a great way for community members to connect with one another.
We didn't know any of these people until this morning, and we just kind of found them along the road, and they picked us up in their group, and now it's really great.
Tour de Fat was open to anyone who wanted to participate, and some people definitely spent a lot of time and thought on their costumes.
I think my craziest one I've seen is a pterodactyl. Somebody built a pterodactyl and attached it to their bike, and it was just flying above their bike, above everybody. That was pretty sweet.
While events like these prove to be tons of fun, it is important to ensure the well-being of not only yourself, but also those around you.
If you see someone and you're concerned, you don't just be like, "Hey, you all right?
Yeah.
You needed me to call someone?"
You good, bro?
Looking out for each other. You know, it's a community, and I think everyone's pretty friendly, and we take care of each other.
The remainder of the day consisted of several activities and concerts, including performances by the ex-ambassadors and the All-American Rejects. Tour de Fat continues to elicit community engagement each year, as well as provide a platform for creativity. Tour de Fat benefited several nonprofit organizations, including the Overland Mountain Bike Club and the Ciclismo Youth Foundation. Well, that's all I have for you. Make sure to tune into our local beach show tomorrow night and have a great night, Rams.